Welcome into Week 11 of The Rundown here on Big Rapids Daily News on YouTube. Brandon Worth, Jack Heckman, Jason Kostecki, Mark Holcomb, giving you the good stuff in CSAA football. And fellas, our teams are still alive this week. It's a great week to be a Coyote fan, a Cardinal fan, as well as a Kent City Eagle fan.
How about that?
We'll talk about that in full, as well as a Week 11 matchups, the bracket update now after these past week's results, and we'll break down, of course, Week 10. But before we get started, big thanks goes out to Denny's Muffler and Brakes. You can find them on State Street in Big Rapids. If you need general auto repair, brakes, mufflers, and so much more, stop on in, get yourself an appointment at Denny's Muffler and Brakes, a proud sponsor of The Rundown. Fellas, let's get right into it. We'll start with the most talked game around town. Big Rapids knocks off Ludington, fourth straight win in the Battle of the Birds. But let's just say questionable decision-making down the stretch. And Jason, you were the one that saw it all unfold right in front of you. Questionable decision on second down for Ludington. Big Rapids able to take advantage in a major way with a game winner, 22 seconds left for Mossel, and we're moving on to Escanaba.
Absolutely. What an unbelievable high school football game. You know, it was one of those fun ones to call. We haven't obviously seen a lot of those all season long, but I think the begs the question is Coach Guntzel from Ludington. I don't know what he was doing. I think that was a sentiment on everybody on that Orioles sideline. Big Rapids was not done, but it was going to be a lot more difficult for them to make plays other than throwing that ball on second down, and it got intercepted. So it's just questionable, but good for us, obviously, as Big Rapids, but heartbreaking for Ludington.
Heartbreaking indeed. But Cole Heist with a very good game overall, very efficient throwing the football. Max Bowman really showed out, just showed what a true player he is. And overall, you limited Guntzel as much as you could, and now they're moving on. So very big win for them this week. Partner, we had Reed City and Sanford. We knew that Reed City was a favorite in that matchup against the Mustangs. They certainly proved it. Big strike rushing offense, almost 17 yards a carry from all the backs that touched the football on Friday night.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me to take away from Friday night was the way Kason Kopic ran. We've talked about him all year. He hurt his hamstring preseason. He just hasn't seemed like himself, at least not running downhill like he did all last year. Friday night, he ran downhill. He ran hard, he was physical, and he was our leading rusher. 4 touchdowns, 160 yards, just a huge game for Kason. And not a bad time of year for a running back to get hot either when you got those other two guys in the backfield to join you.
Absolutely. Big strike offense. Gave up a little bit of yards against Sanford, but when you score 63, you have the insurance to be able to do those types of things. So the Coyotes are moving on. We'll talk about the matchup with Montague later on this week with the brackets. Montcalm, speaking of which, against Montague, the Hornets win 40-20. Walked back, watched that game a little bit, Jack, and for pretty much lack of a better term, Cole Moss just stole the show with the Wildcats. 4 touchdowns to lead the way. Montcalm just couldn't stop him.
Yeah, 100%. They were able to get out to an early lead, and such Montcalm able to stack a couple touchdowns late, but obviously wasn't enough. And it's really unfortunate to see that offense, nothing coming out of it with the district championship. But you got to look back. The offense played good, had their moments, but just not enough this week.
Yeah, absolutely. They held Wernholm in check, and that really just made the offense one-dimensional, watching that game back just a little bit. But a great season from the Hornets nonetheless. Same for the Vikings. The Battle of the Vikings, Tri-County, had a chance within a score late against Whitehall, but Whitehall gets it done on their home turf. For Coach Butler's crew, they had a great season, a lot of promise, just the wrong time of the year to have a 3-game skid.
Yeah, 100%. And it goes back to the same thing Central Montcalm did. Just let the other team get out to too many points too early. They found themselves, I believe, down 21 at some point, and that's just something you can't have happen in the playoffs and expect to make a comeback.
Absolutely. We wish the Vikings the best of luck next year. If what they bringing back, it's going to be very exciting. But losing Veltman, losing Button, that's going to be big losses to fill. We'll see what happens there. Kent City against Olivet. Heavily favored the Eagles, were the Olivet Eagles, rather, in the battle of the... I don't know why the committee decided to match up all the mascots like this and have mascot wars, but it's all fun and games at the end of the day. But huge for Coach Gropp. I mean, not getting the home draw. Obviously, everything stacked against you on the brackets, but, I mean, you got to give them credit. They controlled the first half of that game, time of possession, with the tee. They utilized it beautifully, and they held Olivet's offense through the air to a minimal, and they held it out for a win.
Yeah, 100%. The defense has come to play every single week. 17 turnovers in 10 games. That's been an incredible stat line for this Eagles team to look at all season long, and that's something they're going to look at next week and trying to force the turnovers again.
Absolutely. And the last game here, Harrison against Molly Stanwood. Obviously, a lopsided affair, but for the Mohawks, year one for Coach Chapman with that crew. making it is a heck of an accomplishment. The fact they got to that week, very impressive stuff overall. A lot of things looking forward to next year here from Willie Stanwood.
Yeah, 100%. To able to go out, somehow sneak into the playoffs at 3-6, you got to look back, going into year 2 with Chapman. There's a lot of excitement looking into that season. Hopefully you can get to a winning record.
Absolutely. Those are the 6 games to recap. We'll talk about the brackets in just a moment. But first, big thanks to Eagle Village. If you want a job that impacts the lives of youth and the next generation, you can find out more information, eaglevillage.org, Eagle Village, where potential source. All right, let's talk brackets here. We'll go around the horn with all 4 of us here. We'll start with Big Rapids. Obviously, wins for Spring Lake. Obviously, Big Rapids and Escanaba winning. And then you had Unity holding out in what was an absolute defensive slugfest. No, I'm just kidding. They literally defenses couldn't stop Swiss cheese that Friday night. But Unity ends up winning. Spring Lake, we know that team is very good in the playoffs. They get by Godwin Heights. So pretty much in total, it was a great night for 3 seeds. All sorts of 3-2 upsets on Friday night.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the fact that Holland Christian was able to keep it close with Unity gives Spring Lake that spring of hope to maybe pull that upset off and then say Big Rapids beats Escanaba. That's a very manageable regional matchup right there.
Yeah, we'll be certainly rooting for the Lakers if you're a Big Rapids fan. And obviously, Jason, you recall that game. It was a monumental turn-point game. That win against Spring Lake led into the Whitehall win as well. And so that would be a very favorable draw. It would also be an emotional draw similar to Ludington last week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing is, this time of the year, it is matchup, but it's also who shows up to play, right? Because anything can happen in the playoffs, right? You pull out some things that you haven't done all year. You try some different things offensively and defensively. And I think Big Rapids is a tough matchup for anybody. Their skilled players are as good as anybody. That offensive and defensive line is big and playing really well. So anything could happen moving forward.
Yeah, and they're obviously working on some stuff here behind us. We're going to obviously hold and disclose all this trick plays that Coach Seltzer's run. No, I'm just kidding. They're working on some stuff. And so that's the updated bracket for Big Rapids. Winner will play Unity and Spring Lake on the other side in the regional final. If they were to knock off Escanaba in the moonlight on Saturday, they should have made that a 7 p.m. game just for that. But It is what it is. Let's move forward to Reed City. Montague takes down Central Montcalm, so it'll be the Wildcats for Reed City on the other side of the bracket. Partner, we've been watching these 2 teams all year. No surprise that we're going to see St. Francis Kingsley round 2 for a district title on Friday night.
Yeah, no surprise to us. I don't think it's any surprise to them either. The biggest surprise was the district draw for us. But now that the district draw was out, I think it's the path. We knew what the path was going to be. We were going to have to go through St. Francis or Kingsley. That'll be a great game to watch. Of course, we have to go through Montague first, which is the Friday night game. They've won 5 in a row. So they either played their tough part of their schedule early or they've been able to figure some things out. But it's just like what you said too, Jason, right? They're on a 5-game win streak coming into the playoffs. That's not a bad thing to have either. So they do come to Alumni Field in Reed City, advantage us, House of Pain. But, it's a district final game. Anything can happen when you're in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And, Jack, we've been kind of looking at the projections all year long. These are 2 teams that are not only going to be in a heavyweight fight for the district, but the models, Goose Poop, Snooze, all these other projections, they like either of these 2 teams to win a region, let alone and being in the state semifinals, let alone district finals. So this is a huge game up north.
Yeah, 100%. A massive game with massive implications. No better time to do it than right now.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Kent City. They will be playing Belding this week. Boy, hold on to your hats if you love some wing tee, old smash mouth football. That's going to be a lot of fun. On the other side of the bracket, it'll be an interesting little draw. You have Montrose, obviously taking care of business as the 1 seed, but Durand, another 3-2 upset. That was the name of Friday night, 3s over 2s, taking down Hamady, and that was a really close game, a 10-point game as well. So overall, Kent City against Belding, we've seen both teams. We've seen the tees. Who's going to hold on to the football longer? I think that's going to be the end of the day who wins that game.
Yeah, that's what the wing tee is all about, right? It's about ball control. It's about taking time off the clock. We didn't do that very well last week. If you'd have looked at time of possession, I think the first 3 possessions we scored on the second play. So time of possession sometimes means nothing. Typically, a wing tee is a ball control, run some time off the clock. We saw that when we played Belding the first time. And actually, we saw that last week. They didn't run a wing tee, but those long drives that they had last week.
Meridian, yes.
Yeah, Meridian against us. Sorry. and then they came up with no points. So that's one of the things about the wing tee. If you're going to take time off the clock and have a sustained drive, you have to come out with some points. But man, I mean, if I was not involved in the Reed City game, that's one of the games I'd like to watch up here to see the Belding Kent City matchup for the CSAA, if no other reason.
Going to be doing a lot of this score checking constantly on Friday night.
So if you're down in Kent City or you're down in Belding, update the score so we can get them too.
Please do. And I'll go over to you guys. I mean, this was, we have 3 teams we're talking about for a district final, and both teams, all 3 teams, I should say, have a good chance to win. Obviously, we talked about Big Rapids. We'll get into the matchups here in just a moment. But I think this is overall great for the CSAA to see Kent City get over the hump, Reed City and Big Rapids continuing on. It's showing the level of football in Central Michigan is definitely improving.
Yeah, we talk all year kind of that level of competition, for both the top and the bottom there. But overall, this is awesome news, okay? And I think it's going to be a good football game. Belding and Kent City, I think Belding has the X factor in Monty Price that's been there. He's been seasoned. He's going to know what to do and make those adjustments. We'll see if Kent City can make some and what ultimately it's going to be. But very good football game it's going to be.
Absolutely. A partner just getting 6 teams into the postseason. I mean, the conference have to be ecstatic just to see that number improve from the last couple years.
Yeah, 100%. It's incredible what this conference has been able to do. And yeah, we've had some blowouts in the conference. Big Rapids has steamrolled through the conference. But just looking at the silver and seeing some of those battles that Kent City has been able to do with some of those teams, and that's usually a team that doesn't blow out a lot of teams in previous years. They haven't had a year like this in a long time, which is a great thing to look at. And Central Montcalm able to put up that offensive onslaught all season long. This was an exciting conference season.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing how far these teams go with the brackets. Before we get into the matchups, big thanks goes out to our friends at RivalsMI.com. You can get holiday merch coming soon as well as Legends t-shirts that you can see on your screen. RivalsMI.com for more information. You can shop the whole store online today. Let's talk about the preview games. We'll start with Big Rapids and Escanaba here behind us as they're game planning. I think for especially looking at the Eskies, I mean, the Cardinals, after last week, a lot of people are now believers. Huge favorites on the model right now against Escanaba. But I think the biggest thing, how will Jack Bowman be able to insert himself into this game, I think will be a big thing. And for the Eskimos, is there going to be a passing game? And if so, can the Cardinals limit it at least to the point we saw Ludington last week? If they do both those things, they're going to be probably in much better shape than we're against Ludington.
I think you're exactly correct here. I think one of the biggest thing is, we have the playmakers that can absolutely make plays. I watched that Escanaba Freeland game, and we were talking earlier, neither team looked outstanding. But again, nerves of the first round of the playoffs, different things there. But I think the biggest thing for Big Rapids is a wholly different ball game, right? You're not playing on a Friday night. You're playing 6 hours away. Everything changes for you. Escanaba's played Saturday 1 o'clock games, so they know how to adjust, how to get ready for that. Big Rapids has not done that yet this year. So, you get in a routine, right? You do the same things on Fridays, getting ready for a Friday night game. Now they're going to stay overnight in Escanaba on Friday. It just changed a lot. So keeping the focus on the task at hand is going to be the biggest thing this coaching staff has. It's not going out and playing that game Saturday.
Absolutely. This feels almost more like it's not the battle of the opponent. It's the battle against the trip. That's what it really feels like in this matchup. But overall, Escanaba's been high up in the models, Jack, that we've seen. It's a good football team. Don't get me wrong. Ludington have a little bit more playmakers. Eskimos play a little bit more team-oriented style football. And one thing as well, it's going to be a grass field instead of turf last week.
Yeah, 100%. We were talking about it before. The last grass game was at Chip Hills for Big Rapids. This is a completely different ball game. Jason was talking about it with the time, the travel, all that's going to be different, but it's all about the playmakers on the field. Jason also alluded it. Big Rapids has game wreckers. They have some guys who can absolutely break games, and that's the size comparison. The Eskimos not as big. The Cardinals, that's a huge upfront team, and they'll be able to, if they can impose their will on the opponent, it's going to be ugly.
Potential for a little bully ball compared to last week for the Cardinals. Let's look at Reed City and partner. I mean, we've seen Montague on the playoff schedule a lot over the last couple years. Very familiar foes. A new coach for Montague and Coach Coops, formerly from Hamilton, so it'll be a little bit different look comparison to years past. But Montague, very good run defense, and the Coyotes, one of the best rushing teams, if not the, in West Michigan. So that side of the football, Reed City offense, Montague defense, that's going to be certainly all the fans are going to be looking at this Friday night.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's Reed City defense, Montague offense, too. I think I've been really impressed with the way the defense has played the last month of the season, including last week. Their last touchdown especially was really scored against Reed City's JV team. So that was a bigger win than the score showed. But I think for us, I mean, I'm going to sound like Coach Schenkel now, right? You have to win the battle of the trenches. Here's the thing for me that I'm still impressed with. Those three backs, knock on wood, knock whatever you on whatever you have not put the ball on the turf.
Yeah.
Right? We have not lost a fumble from any of those three running backs yet. And that's one of the things that's going to help you make a deep playoff run. You take care of the football. We haven't lost a fumble. The quarterbacks have put the ball on the ground a couple times. We've been able to recover. So turnover battle is key for us. Can we win the battle in the trenches? Can we get those guys into the second level? If Montague comes in to try and stack the box like Meridian did last week, I mean, we saw it, right? As soon as Kopic, as soon as Deitch got through the line of scrimmage, they were gone. And so we'll have to see what Montague does. And then we had the big pass play last week, too, that was pretty effective because they were so tight on the line of scrimmage. So I think, honestly, the way we play football, it's all about our offense.
Yeah.
It starts and finishes with whether we can control the ball offensively.
Yeah, I think both teams are going to have an emphasis on tackling this week with the amount of athleticism in each backfield. And, Jack, we mentioned as well, the fact that Montague's here is really not shocking. This was a team that lost 4 of their first 5 games, but we knew really tough start of the year with Ludington, Whitehall, and Co. in conference play, but we knew they were going to bring it all the way back, and now they're riding a 5-game win streak into this matchup.
Yeah, 100%. That's everything. Momentum is key come the playoffs, and the ability that Reed City has to run the football. That's what championship football teams do, is run the football. How can Montague stop that, and how can Montague come to play offense against this Reed City defense that really, I think, has taken a massive step up since that Tri-County game where they were kind of exposed via the pass game? It's going to be an interesting thing to watch.
Absolutely. And with the last matchup, Kent City Belding, I mean, we talked about it earlier on here, Jack. It's going to be a bully ball game. It's going to be who folds first. It's going to be one of those games who holds the football longer and executes in the red zone. I mean, it's going to be a really fun football game to watch. But one thing as well, tempo is something that both teams have kind of been working on. Belding saw it against Reed City, and Reed City was able to use that back in week 2, the tempo to a little bit get into that Belding defensive line, tire them out a little bit. And for Kent City, I think the defensive line is going to be very good. So, I mean, as simple as it puts, yeah, this is boring blah with analysis, but it's going to be pretty much a war in the trenches. Who wins? I mean, that's going to be who's going to have more on the scoreboard.
Yeah, 100%. Nothing says playoff football like 2 wing tees going at it. But a guy, you got to watch where Andre Meade is at all times. He's been a weapon for Kent City going to Grand Valley. He's forcing plays. He was a game wrecker last week against Olivet, and he was a game wrecker against Tri-County a couple weeks ago. He has created havoc all season long, and that's what you really got to watch out if you're the Belding offense. And he can wreck games.
And he's good in the secondary, too. 6 tackles last week in that game against Olivet. So that's our bracket breakdown. Big thanks also goes out to Dazos Digital. Target your target audience with the experts at DazosDigital.com. We're going to have the radio calls here for you. Myself, Mark Holcomb, will be on Friday. Same time as always, 6:30 p.m. for pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff, Y102, WYBR mobile app. We're going to have Jason and JT over on Big Country. But if you're thinking on Friday night, slow your roll. It's going to be a Saturday afternoon game, as we mentioned. 12:30 pregame, 1 o'clock up there in Escanaba.
So
on Big Country 100.9.
Listen to the Coyotes Friday night.
You can do both this
Listen
week.
to the Cardinals Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, you can get both in this week.
I
And
like
then,
that.
And then we'll be score watching Kent City and Belding as
that's
much
true.
as we can. So, guys, any last thoughts here? Playoffs, we're both talking to like Week 11 football, so it's a good feeling, and hopefully it doesn't get any colder because right now I'm starting to feel a little chilly.
It is cold, and we are traveling north, so that's even worse for us. I think it's going to be a really good weekend of football. I do think Big Rapids and Reed City have great shots to win. Going to be fun to call, going to be fun to listen to you guys Friday night.
Absolutely. Going to be really fun. Partner, any last thoughts?
Take care of the football and control the line of scrimmage. And I know I sound like Schenkel, but that's been the story for us. The 2 games we struggled, the 2 losses we have, it was at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And if we can win the battle at the line of scrimmage, I agree with Coach Schenkel. If we can win the battle in the trenches, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, Kingsley and then this team behind
Kingsley,
us.
yeah.
They play really good up front. Partner, any last thoughts?
Trophies are in the building. It's going to be fun. Anything can happen.
Woo! Trophies are in the building. That's absolutely right. You can follow along and subscribe for more editions of The Rundown. We'll be back as long as our teams continue winning throughout the entire football season. Be sure to subscribe, be sure to follow, and we'll see you next week on The Rundown.